back to Wine Down with Books with your girl Kate. We jumping straight into it. You know the vibes. I have my wine. I'm drinking jam jar. But anyways, we're reviewing 40 Acres. Phenomenal book. If you haven't read this book, I would recommend this book. I recommend the Ace of Spades. If I review a book and I say I recommend the book, that's because I really, really love it. Go ahead and read it. But anyways, let's jump right into it. So the book follows a main character named Martin Gray. Martin Gray is a civil rights attorney. He has his own small little law firm that consists of just him and his partner, Glenn. Glenn is Jewish. Martin is African American. The story starts off with Martin defending his African American client, I forgot his name, in a racial discrimination suit against his employer, auto industry. Martin is going up against Damon Darrell. That's his name, Damon Darrell. Damon Darrell is a top African-American lawyer. He's a big shot. He's one of the best of the best. He does his thing. He's rich. So it already stands that Martin has no chance against Damon because Damon is seen to win all his cases. The verdict comes back. Martin ends up winning the case, so that's big for not only Martin and his firm, but it's big that, you know, he's going to get more clients, he's going to get more recognition, and he just beat one of the top lawyers in the city, right? So it starts off where, you know, they celebrate and everything, and at the celebration, Damon comes to the celebration and he wants to speak to Martin. Martin is there with his partner, Glenn and his wife, and then Martin is also married to Anna. Now, Anna, like, I'm just gonna start by saying Anna is a real one. But anyway, so at the party, you know, everybody's surprised to see Damon. Like, Damon, you just lost, you coming in here. So they think it's some stuff about to go down, but Damon congratulates Martin and invites him to a party at his house. Damon basically stated that, you know, somebody dropped out. His wife, you know, asked for you guys to come. You and your wife are welcome. All of that, right? So Damon doesn't invite Glenn. Glenn is just like, you know, Glenn is a real friend, a real co-worker, a real partner. Glenn says, listen, if you gotta go to the dinner, go to the dinner. I understand. It's going to open up a new clientele list for us that we need. So if it's going to benefit us, do it. You know, so he gives Martin a green light. Martin and Anna attends the function at Damon's house. First of all, they pull up. You already know the vibes. The house is beautiful. The house is simply beautiful, elegant. It fits his taste. And Martin and Anna felt like, you know, they had to go splurge a little bit to fit in regards to like the dress and tuxedo, whatever, right? So fast forward, they had dinner, and Martin and Anna noticed that it's only black people at this party. There's no white person in sight. So, you know, they both people like, this is why Damon didn't want to invite Glenn, because Glenn is white, right? So at the party, then after dinner, the two groups separate. I'm gonna move this up a little bit. The two groups separate. The women go in one room. The men go in the basement, whatever. They start drinking or whatever. And then the men start really introduce themselves, right? So Martin is currently in a room with CEOs, black CEOs who own either real estate, the media, attorneys, publishing, whatever you could think of. It was 5 men. You have, I can't remember, I didn't write down all of their names, right? So Damon is taken back, like, because at one point he didn't know that one of the men who he heard their name, but he didn't know that the man was black. So these are powerful men, right? And Martin is just elated to be in the same room as them. He's just taken back. So the men now are talking about, you know, their foundations, their money, what it means to be black. In Damon's little basement, he has a whole bunch of slavery artifacts, like chains, whips, shackles, you name it, that was like a part of like his ancestors wore this, right? So Damon is intrigued, like he's with everything, and the men start talking about slavery, and you know they filling him out. at the same time, it was like at the dinner was like kind of like a Martin, for Martin to be so smart, he was so damn dumb at some points, right? But his wife Anna fill in those parts. So they started realize, well, Martin and Anna, there were two separate different rooms, but they started realizing that it was kind of like an initiation observation, like the men and the woman was filling them out, right? So Martin sees that the men go on a rafting trip. The men talk about the rafting trip and the bonding and how they do it every year. And you know, they invited Martin low key, and basically telling Martin that, you know, anything that's discussed here stays here, right? So Martin makes that promise because he understands that for him to be in the room with these prominent black men, it's a privilege, not only for him but for his success in the future. After the dinner or whatever, right? Martin and his wife leave. They're in the car. Anna basically gets she gets a bad feeling. Like, you know, a woman's intuition, that's the intuition. And she has a conversation like, you know, Martin, I have a feeling like after this night, your life is going to change. And it's not going to be for the good, right? Martin's like, I can handle it. I'm not going to change because Anna's like, you know, your purpose for being an attorney is because you want to help with civil cases, right? And she doesn't want Martin to forget where he comes from. Martin's like, I'm not going to do that, right? So, but Anna just has a bad feeling about the group. So long story short, you know, one second. All right. So Martin and Damon decides that he's gonna continue like filling out Martin. He starts spending time with it. So the goal of the men is to induct Martin into their little group. So Damon believes that Martin could be a good fit for the group. So because of this, they start having people following Martin. Martin doesn't realize that someone is following him. They hired Damon's group hired one of the best criminals called a handyman. He's good at what he do, right? So there's that. So move on. All right. So while there was a point where Damon was at lunch, I believe it was at lunch with Martin was at lunch with Damon, and Damon had the handyman break into Martin's house, copy all his files, everything. So because they want to do a background check on Martin, like his finances, his history, his ancestral history, his cultural background. Anything you could think of, they took DNA from him, everything. So Martin is still unaware of this, and I mean, the guy was good at what he do, so Martin was never going to get that, right? So fast forward. So at the dinner, the initial dinner, the men were talking about Dr. Kasim. So Dr. Kasim is the head guy that the men follow. Sorry guys, the men follow. Right? So these men believe in Dr. Kasim's message. They believe in his rhetoric. They believe for everything that he stands for, and they hold him to a high standard. So, you know, Martin has never met Dr. Kasim, any of that. Right? So after, there was a meeting, whatever, after the dinner, I forgot this part, that Damon went on the computer. He was talking to Oscar, that's Dr. Kasim's assistant, and they basically want to know more about Martin and asking Damon, are they sure? At one point, the men had took a little vote, basically saying that, you know, what they think about Martin. The only person that does not like Martin is one of the guys named Carver. He's a real estate mogul, and he just doesn't think that Martin has it. He thinks Martin's full of shit. He doesn't think Martin could fit in, and he also worries because Martin has a white partner, right? But everybody else agrees that Martin could be a good fit. Oscar's like, all right, do a little bit more research. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit, right? So the men invite Martin on their whitewater rafting trip. They basically say that, you know, it's safe. We do it every year. This, that, and third, right? And Martin at first he's reluctant to go. He says he'll never go, but he's like, if I don't go and I turn it down, the guys may hang out with me, but the doors may close and it's an opportunity. So he agrees to go. So at the same time, Anna does not want him to go. Anna is just worried. Anna is basically like, you know, we have a life. I love you. I don't want nothing to happen to you. So Anna's on the type of time, like, she's just like, you know, I'm about to do some research. At the same time, Glenn wants to know, Glenn likes the outdoor. That's Martin's partner, right? Glenn wants to know why he can't come on the trip. Martin basically straight up like, the reason why you can't come on the trip is because you white. And Glenn feels, you know, away, but Martin's just like, this is what it is. So that's how that go. So Anna now decides that she's gonna do some research. As she's researching, she finds something. So the day of that, Damon and Martin are supposed to leave for the trip. Damon's coming to pick up Martin. Anna confronts him like, yo, listen, I found this article online. There was a group that attended the same part of where they was going. I think it was Seattle or something like that, whatever. He was a black journalist. He was just about to make it famous. He went on a trip with 5 men and he died, right? So it just so happened Martin's going to the same place with the same 5 gentlemen, and she's terrified. So when Damon pulls up, Anna makes Martin confront Damon about the article. Damon's just like, all right, you know, I'm about to put you on. So long story short, Damon tells Anna and Martin that, you know, you right. I forgot, what's his name? Donald Jackson. That's the journalist's name. He's like, listen, Donald was a friend of mine. Donald did not die in the whitewater rafting trip. Donald committed suicide. The guys that we went with, we covered it up so his wife and his family could get the insurance, because his insurance policy does not cover suicide. So Anna's like, oh damn, like, you know, I confronted him. They did that for his family. Why would he commit suicide? And he was going through stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like that part, Damon was full of shit, but it made Anna feel better. Like, then, like, she knew the full story and all that, but she still was uneasy, right? So that was that. So she allows Martin to go on the trip. So while they on the plane, right, Martin realized that, you know, he's looking at the window, he's looking at the sunset, and I'm like, you must gotta really be a geographer for that, because he's like, oh, the sun's setting in the wrong direction. I thought we was going to Seattle. If we was going to Seattle, the sun would be something like that, right? So Damon decides that he's gonna give drinks to the group, not knowing that Damon put something in Martin's drink, drugged him, and he was knocked out. So when the plane lands, now they wake up. Martin realized that he's not in Seattle. They're like, yeah, we're not in Seattle. We in West Virginia. Oh wait, he doesn't know where he's at. Yeah. So let me pause right there. Whatever. So they end up landing in a freaking jungle full of woods and all that, where they surrounded by guards, and Martin's taken back like by the scene, like, what's going on? Nobody would tell him what's going on. So they're in the car driving, right? So like I told you, it's Damon, Carver, Quamere, Solomon, another guy, right? So Carver still doesn't like Martin. Carver's the type of person, like, he's throwing little smart-ass remarks and petty marks at Martin. Martin is already peeping game. He's going at it with Carver. Carver's a young asshole, and you know, but Carver sees right through Martin and knows that Martin's not gonna be a good fit, because Martin is a stand-up guy and Carver is just like whatever. Martin still does not understand what's going on. So as they drive, right? They drive through a river in the Hummer. They drive through the jungle. They pull up to a fortress, right? So they pull up to the fortress, and the fortress is named 40 Acres. The 40 Acres resembles a plantation. It is huge. It is bigger than 40 Acres. It's about 132 acres, but it's called 40 Acres. The reason why it's called 40 Acres is because at the end of the Civil War, the free slaves were promised 40 acres and a mule by the president. When the new president, I believe it was Jackson that took over, if I'm not mistaken, I think I wrote it down. When he took over, he basically dubbed all that shit. It was like the enslaved people, we're not gonna call them slaves, the enslaved people, the free enslaved people, they're not getting no 40 acres and a mule. So that's why it was like a little one of Dr. Kasim's joke that, you know, the white man promised black people something and still didn't give it to them and then follow through. So it's like a little joke. They said Dr. Kasim is like a funny guy or whatever. He's an asshole if you ask me. But anyways, they pull up to 40 Acres. They go in. The first thing Martin noticed is all the guards, and like they resemble, like, the guards are fit, they athletic built. They armed. He's wondering, like, why they need so much guards. He sees a white girl out in front. She got red hair. When he looks over to wave at her. The girl puts her head down and was like looking scared, right? So everybody's looking at Martin to see like what Martin's gonna do and realize. My thing is, Martin, like, again, Martin's so smart, but he's so goddamn dumb in this damn butt, right? So everybody that Martin interacts with, he pulls up, he meets Oscar. Oscar introduced himself. Oscar's seen as a very stern dude. Everyone from the bellboy to the people who's working, the gardeners, all that is white. Martin has yet to recognize that all these people are white. First of all, if I go into a new area, I'm very observant. If I see no black workers and all the black people are being addressed as yes ma'am, no ma'am, and all that, and I only see white people, you don't think something wrong? You don't think something wrong? Martin observing that, right? So then it had a situation where there was the bellboy that tried to bring show Martin to his room. Martin tried to hand him a tip, and the bellboy was looking around like, oh my God, no, don't do that, don't do this. He's scared as hell. So Martin noticed that all the people that he interact with is like they scared. They got fear. But he's not putting two to two together. I'm like, Martin, man. So Martin's in the room, and Martin wants to make a call. Martin's like, damn, my phone, there's no cellular service. He goes out, he deems it to be a maid. There's a nice, pretty girl named Alice, right? He asks Alice, there's a phone? Alice is like, there's no phone here, there's no service, none of that, no computers, none of that. So he's like, what's going on? So he noticed that, like, she's scared too. So that's when Damon come up out of nowhere. It's like, yo, there's no cell service, this and the third, right? So Martin senses that there's something off. He's like, how they communicate. So the men basically state that, at the 40 acres, it's a place for men to rediscover themselves, to leave all family stuff outside of that, for them to truly escape from the world. So Martin thinking like, it's cool, whatever. He's just like, basically he asked the men like, do you have really white water raft? And they was like, sometimes, what I'm saying, but we come here, the place, let me pause there real quick. Let me just wait. All right. So at one point, the same day, Damon decided he's gonna take Martin on a tour of the place. So they toured the place. They got a gym, they got a basketball court, got a pool, all that. But again, it's only white workers. Martin still has yet to realize. So when they get to the golf course now, that's what Damon like. He sees a whole bunch of white people fixing the golf course and repairing it because it was a storm there. So that's when Martin realized, like, yo, it's only white people that's working here. Like, all the black people are either us or the security. Martin realizes, he turns around, he asks Damon. Damon's like, I was wondering when you was gonna catch on to what was going on. So Martin's like, it's only white people here, right? So then again, Oscar is seen as the overseer. So that's when Damon basically told Martin, like, yo, we are the masters, they are the slaves, right? And the slaves, the white people, live in the barracks, right? So we're gonna go to that. So next. So this is I'm gonna go in the order. Alright, I'm gonna go in order, right? So now they get to the dinner part, and at dinner, this is where Martin meets Dr. Kasim. Dr. Kasim is a 90, I think he was like late 90-year-old man. The men, like they stand firm. They wait for him to sit down. Like, he's a king. Dr. Kasim is a king, right? They like what he's doing with the property. Again, they love his message. So Dr. Kasim is analyzing Martin and talking to Martin, right? So at one point, Martin had asked for another piece of pie. The white girl named Alice bought the pie, and she dropped it. So Martin, like, his natural instinct to bend down and help the person who dropped something, right? Dr. Kasim yells at Martin, like, get up off the floor, she could do it. So he take it back, like, what's good? So that's when Dr. Kasim start, introducing his little rhetoric. He basically says that, I'm gonna cut it short, that black men suffer from black noise. So black noise equal the cries of our ancestors, the cries for revenge, the cries for our ancestors who were raped, who were beaten, who were tortured, everything that you could think of, who had stuff stolen from them, right? And that Martin is suffering from it, and that, you know, at this place, you'll be able to silence the black noise and truly discover your power, truly discover who you can be and who you need to be, right? And that he's basically saying that Martin is suffering from slave mentality, and slave mentality meaning that black men are conforming to the norms of white men. Black men would never reach their full potential because they're trying to be like white men. Black men are told to silence their anger and silence their thoughts in the presence of white men, and that anytime a black man is to show his anger, it is taken out against him. And I agree with that part. I agree when it comes to black men and black women, like, we're always seen as the aggressor. Like, whenever, if we're passionate about something, our voice get a little too loud, or it's not in a range where it's deemed to be appropriate, then we are aggressive. And I'm just like, no, like, sometimes you're just passionate. Sometimes you have to show you're passionate. Sometimes when you get angry, you know, it may reflect like it's too much, but that's just, we need to be heard, because being talking in a mellow tone voice is not getting the job done sometimes. So I understand that, like, especially black women, we are seen as aggressive. The minute we get loud, oh, you're being aggressive. How? I'm passionate. You understand what I'm saying? So I agree with that part, right? So Dr. Kasim basically says 40 acres is a place for black men to free their minds, right? So Martin then starts to realize, like, 40 acres is just the opposite of a country club. So, you know, country club is mostly where a lot of high-end white men who have money go there, they do what they gotta do, and it's like a vacation for them. So Martin realized, like, you know, 40 acres is just the opposite of that, where at the country club you do see black men and women working for rich white people. So he agrees with that part in a sense, right? So he decides that he's going to listen to the doctor's philosophy and keep an open mind, right? So, all right. Black noise, I forgot that I had wrote this part down. There's a reminder that the white man not only stole from black men, but stripped black men of their humanity and profited off of that. I think during those times, like the original slavery times, yes, black men were stripped of humanity, and you do see it now when like, for example, with police brutality and attacking black men in that sense. But I don't agree that it's to that full extent like it was during those slavery times, where they literally beat the humanity out of black men. And we do have in the case when the police brutality, but I think that it's not, when it comes to like the torture, and it comes to the what's the word I'm looking for? Like, is the conditions that we as black people face today, people of color face today, is grave, is detrimental to us, but our ancestors really went through it. That's what I'm trying to put. I can't put into words, but it's severe. And we are dealing with modern slavery now, but our ancestors really went through and had a lot stolen from them, right? So anyways, fast forward. So Martin decides that he's going to listen to Dr. Kasim's story. So this is Dr. Kasim's story. Dr. Kasim used to live on a farm with his father, and the father worked for a white guy, right? The white guy, before he died, gifted the father land, a piece of 1 acre. When the father died, he gifted Dr. Kasim the land. At the time, I forgot his name, his real name. So the white guy's son didn't agree with Dr. Kasim having the acre. So he took it upon himself, the white guy, the son, to go get the courts involved, basically stole the land back illegally from Dr. Kasim. So Dr. Kasim was forced to give up the land illegally, and he was just going through it because his land, that's the only piece that his father owned, his father nurtured, his father took care of, and it was taken from him. So Dr. Kasim, you know, he at the time he had a family and all that. He dropped his family, his wife and all that off to her sister. He decided to pick up a job with the same son. So he went back to the son. So the son basically was gloating like, you know, I took your land for you, now you need to come work for me. So Dr. Kasim decided he's going to work for him, take the money that he makes, go over to the next county, purchase another acre of land. He kept doing that. Then, when he had enough, he then kidnapped the son and made the son be his slave for years. During the time that the son was his slave, Dr. Kasim felt a rush of confidence. He felt that he could look a white man in the eye now, that they were now on equal playing field, that he took back the power that was taken from him, right? And he felt a sense of relief. So because of him taking the son and enslaving him from years, when he went to speak to other white men, he looked them in the eye. He didn't turn away. Like he was like, you know, we one and the same. You understand what I'm saying? So that's when he started understanding, like, you know, in order for black men to take back the power and to be considered on the same equal field and to be successful, he needs to create 40 acres. Black men need to know what it feels like to enslave the people who enslaved not only him, who stole from them, their ancestors, everything. So that's how everything came about, right? So from kidnapping that one person, Dr. Kasim formed his rhetoric. So that's how that came about, right? So let's move forward. So while Martin is listening to all this, he now realizes, like, yo, I don't agree with none of this. Like, Martin understands that, you know, his ancestors went through these situations, and it is truly sad. And, you know, at the end of the day, vengeance needs to be taken, but not in this way. Martin believes that, you know, not all white people are following the steps of their ancestor. He doesn't believe in harming people, but Martin realizes if he looks these men in the face and says the wrong answer and does not agree with Dr. Kasim's rhetoric, he is going to die. Martin is fearful for his life. So Martin decides that, you know, when Dr. Kasim was done, and asked Martin, you know, will you follow us? Martin was deciding, like, should I say yes? But Martin decides that he's gonna say, you know, no, I'm not gonna really agree with it. I'm willing to learn, but I'm scared. And, you know, that's when Dr. Kasim fell for it and was like, you know, is the feelings that you feel is natural. We're gonna get through. We're gonna learn and stuff like that, right? He says, hell no, I'm not going to join the club. He was Martin was mad dramatic. One thing I can say about Martin, he was a fairly good actor, right? So, but he decides that, you know, in order for him to get out of this alive, because he's there for 4 days, that he needs to play along with what's going on, right? So he accepted the proposal in order to survive, right? So the men now say, like, you know, Martin has to go through an initiation again. So now we're back to Carver. So Carver never liked Martin from the beginning. Again, he doesn't believe Martin could be one of them, right? So the whole time Martin is looking at Alice, but Martin's not looking at Alice like in a sexual way. Martin just looking at Alice like because she's fearful. So now, after the whole dinner thing, Martin goes back to his room, right? And he's trying to, like, reflect and process everything that's going on. Carver decides to send Alice to his room. So Alice now is there to do any sexual favor that Martin wants. So Martin wants to decline, but he knows if he declines, Carver's going to see right through him because Carver's watching. So basically, Carver wants Martin to have sex. So at the 40 acres, you know, the men have sex with whatever they do, they beat the slaves, like they torture the slaves, they do what slave masters did 10 times worse. And Damon is secretly bisexual. Damon, no one knows but the men that Damon is bisexual. When he's at 40 acres, he can indulge in his sexuality because he feels like if he was to come out gay, the black community will reject him. He will lose his black vote. So he's hiding who he truly is. That's what Damon's doing, right? So Martin decides to turn off the light. Carver leaves. Carver goes back into the security room, and there's cameras in Damon's room, right? Damon realizes when he gets back to the room, like, yo, there's cameras and stuff like that. That's why the boy was, in the beginning, the bellboy was looking around knowing that they watching. So Martin tells Alice to get on top of him, spread her legs, but he tells Alice, like, I'm not gonna have sex with you. So they fake have sex, right? So Alice peeped that Martin is different from the other men, that Martin is not like them. He doesn't want to do these things, but he's playing along. So after that, he tells Alice to keep this between them, this, then, the third. Let me take it to right? So that's that. So the next day, Martin finds out that all the people, the white people that's on the plantation, they have been kidnapped. All these people are descendants of previous slave owners who benefited from slavery. So that generational wealth that's in the family, that old money that white people have, that's from their descendants who benefited and profited from slavery. So they live in the life. So research has been done. So anyone who benefited, the white person who benefited from their slave descendant, they was kidnapped, right? So Alice is actually there. Actually, let me pause there. I'm not gonna go into that. So Carver is deemed to be a rapist. He rapes one of the slaves. Again, Damon is bisexual. Kwame, I forgot. Kwame is basically, he keeps himself, he reads, but he also engages in the activities with the slave. Solomon is playing chess. He's one of the oldest guys, and he's up to be Dr. Kasim protege to take over 40 acres when Dr. Kasim dies, right? So that same day, Damon decides that he's going to take Martin on a tour of the gold mine. So there's a gold mine, right? And the gold mine is like feet deep. It was an old gold mine back in the day where, the Americans went to look for gold. In the gold mine, Martin finds that it's not only layered with explosives, but they have slaves who are living in the gold mine, who never get up for air. They eat, breathe, live, and sleep. There's no gold to be found, right? Dr. Kasim has these people digging dirt just to dig dirt for the rest of their life. We have people who's done there for 7 years, for 6 years. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, yo, like, I was thinking, I'm like, if presented with the opportunity to, if the roles are reversed, to be a master and to be, a master of white slaves, would I take it? I would not take it. I don't believe vengeance is mine to take. I don't believe that, I don't think that's okay. I do believe us black people need reparations for slavery. I do believe in that. But I believe that, I don't believe that all white people are bad. I have some dope ass white friends. I have some dope ass white co-workers. And you have white people who disagree with slavery, who don't even want to be a part of the descendants, and you know what I'm saying? And people who engage in those mindsets, I think that they truly hate the white race. And in order for you to even participate in that kind of activities, you have to have a deep hatred for the white race. Like, that's what I believe. I don't think it's fair, like the conditions that they went through. Like, I was like, damn, like, I know our slaves, oh my gosh, our ancestors went through those conditions and situations 10 times worse than and that's a reason why a lot of us are here today. But to enact the same actions against people who honestly innocent, like, they didn't ask for their descendants to do that, I don't agree with that. Drop your comments and let me know what you think. If you had the opportunity to be a master and enslave white people, what would you do? Right? But anyways, we're going to move forward. So Damon is looking at Martin. In the gold mine, Martin witnesses one of the slaves getting beat, and he just couldn't take it no more. He couldn't keep up a straight face. He yells and was like, "Stop it." Damon was like, "Get yourself in check." And the slaves realized, like, Martin is different, because Martin was having a break. Like, he was having a hard time dealing with everything that was going on. He did not think it was okay. I agree with Martin. I don't think it was okay, and it was a lot. It was a lot to take in. But that's that. So after that, right, Martin is still putting up a front. So again, Alice realized Martin is not like one of them and continued to play everything off, right? At the initiation, Martin is kind of scared to know like what he has to do. So now he realized that, Carver bought Alice, and Alice is tied up and beaten, and Carver lied on Alice and was like, "Yo, Alice scratched my back." So Dr. Kasim made Martin whip Alice with a freaking cow with 25 lashes, right? 25 lashes. She got bloodied and everything. On top of that, Carver whipped her 25 more lashes because of the lie he told, but Martin couldn't say anything because the men were watching him, and this was his final initiation to survive for the 2 days. So at the end of it, Martin believed that Alice was dead, and the men went back to the room for drinks and for celebration and all that. That's when Martin learned, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit, Martin learned that he was in West Virginia. He learned that Dr. Kasim bought land right in the middle of a national park. It's private property. That's when Dr. Kasim had Oscar show Martin a map of where they were, and Martin was analyzing the map and realized, like, he was asking questions. He realized that there was a road that's not used anymore. There was ranger station right there. He realized that there's rivers. So he's taking a mental note of everything, because Martin is like, "I'm gonna get these slaves out of here. I'm gonna be the whistleblower. Like, this is not okay." So he's still playing it off, right? So this is where I'm gonna fast forward, because I'm pretty sure the video is long. So Martin decides that he's gonna blow the whistle. So Oscar, the assistant, carries a gun. So Martin decides that he's gonna go to Oscar and try to get the gun, get the keys or whatever. Martin then, he gets the up on Oscar. He knocks on the door. They start sharing a drink. When Oscar went, Martin asks Oscar for something. Martin tried to take the gun. Oscar realized what Martin was doing, and realizing that Martin is not really a part of the group. Martin decides that he's gonna make Oscar get him through security and get him to the ranger station. Next thing you know, Carver knocks on the door. Carver's like, "Oh, Martin's not in the room." Next thing you know, Martin shaking with the gun. Oscar takes the gun from Martin, knocks Martin out. They put Martin in the freaking gold mine that night. That's when Martin started talking to the slaves and asking for Alice. The slaves basically tell Martin, like, you are just like the other guy, Donald Jackson. But when Donald Jackson came down here, he was shot and beaten. And the slaves started thanking Martin. So Martin thinking that the slaves is thanking him for, trying to protect them. But the slaves is really thanking Martin for giving his life for them. So now, they take Martin out of the freaking mine. The next morning, Martin's at the table with the two white rangers, Dr. Kasim. Basically, oh, wait a minute, I'm skipping mad parts. Hold up. Pause. So at the same time, Anna finds out that she's pregnant. I'm trying to speed this along because the video is pretty long. Anna finds out she's pregnant. Anna decides that she's gonna keep digging. She digs more because she's still worried about Martin. She finds a picture of from the funeral, of Donald Jackson's funeral, a picture of his wife. The wife does not look happy. She puts two and together, like, if the men covered up, why does the wife look unhappy? Anna searches up the wife. She confronts the wife. The wife is basically like, "Oh, you got it wrong. I have a family, this, that, and the third. Leave us alone, this, that, and the third," right? At the same time, Dr. Kasim still had the handyman, following Anna, right? So now Anna is unsure. Anna doesn't realize that there's the handyman that's following her, right? So when she leaves from the Donald Jackson's wife house, The handyman takes a picture, send it to Dr. Kasim. Dr. Kasim basically was like, yo, you know, Anna gotta go. At the table now, Dr. Kasim is basically like, you know, we pay the White Rangers. We got power. No one's gonna find out about this. So he gives Martin an ultimatum, like, listen, we're gonna fake your death, and in return, we're gonna give your wife money. Your baby would be taken care of, all that. The same thing that they did for Donald Jackson. Martin agrees, right? On the way now to his death destination, but before they left, all the men are disgusted at Martin. Carver's the only one that's happy. Like, I knew you was a bitch ass. You didn't feel with us. Damon is like pissed off at Martin because he was like, I trusted you. We was a brother. We really had a connection. You failed our race. You disgraced. So all the men hate Martin. Martin don't give a fuck about all of that. He only think about Anna. He wants his family to be safe. So now on the way, Oscar tells Damon that Dr. Kasim wants you to come with us. So he's like, for what? So Damon gotta go. So now is Martin, the two security guards, Oscar and Damon in the car, riding on the way to Martin's death, right? And there's 2 duffel bags in the back. At the same time, Anna is, we're gonna say Anna's home. Let me fast forward. All right, yeah. So on the ride to the river now, because they had told Martin that he's gonna die in a water rafting accident, right? Martin then realizes that the men want to kill him first and then stage Anna's death, so it don't look like, you know, too suspicious, right? They're gonna kill Anna after that. So now Martin realized, like, yo, I gotta live for my wife. Right? Long story short, when they get to the river, Martin is looking at Damon, trying to get him to get on his side, like, yo, you here, you see the 2 duffel bags, you about to die too. Damon's still not in that type of time. Martin's like, you a little bitch, this, that, and the third, you know, psyching him out to get him on the side. They get to the river now with a spot. Damon is basically given a task to kill Martin with a big boulder rock. Damon just realized, like, yo, you know, they gonna kill me, whatever. He having a little heart-to-heart with himself, and then he decides that he's going to be on Martin's side. He takes the boulder, hit the first security guard, then charges Oscar. Oscar shoots Damon. Damon's dead. Martin gets away. He steals the Jeep. He gets across the river. Oscar runs back to 40 acres. Oscar warns Dr. Kasim that, yo, like, Martin got away. It's because of Damon. We got to get up out of here. So they start burning everything. Dr. Kasim orders the fucking slaves into the mine because I told you it's wired with explosive. At the same time, Martin gets to the road that he saw on the map, right? So Martin's conflicted. He's like, I could save all these slaves. I could save Anna, right? So Martin decides that he's going to go back and save the slaves. At the same time, Martin decides that he's going to write a note on the road where it is, hoping that somebody is going to see it. So he wrote a note that says help, and then he wrote Glenn's number and information on the paper. While Martin goes back to the 40 acres, as the men, Carver and all them is leaving, Martin sneaks back into 40 acres, but Carver is the only one that sees Martin. Carver tells them to stop, like, yo, I just seen Martin, this, that, and the third, he's back. The men don't believe him. They leave Carver. Martin is inside, right? At the same time, there's a white guy that passes by, sees the note, calls Glenn, right? So now Glenn is aware of what's going on, but I'm gonna stop right there. Martin is now inside. He finds the control room with the detonator. Carver comes in. They start tussling. Carver shoots Martin in the shoulder. Next thing you know, Martin got the up on Carver. He takes Carver out. He starts shooting at the freaking control panel. The explosives start, right? Stop. The explosives stop. Martin passes out. At the same time, the handyman, Anna was home in the shower, right? The handyman sneaks into the house trying to kill Anna. At the same time, when this is Anna in the bathtub like this, her eyes is closed, the handyman is over her. Next thing you know, the police come knocking on the door. Handyman dips out. He's in the street in his car watching. The police officer pulls up to the house. Glenn pulls up to the house. The police call was like, yo, miss, is there anybody in the house? Somebody's trying to kill you. Anna's confused. Glenn is like, no, like, she's really in danger. The police officers call The FBI take Anna and Glenn out the house. Next thing you know, Martin wakes up in the hospital. The slaves end up, once Martin shot up the whole control panel, the doors open, the slaves end up getting out. That's when the slave, there was an older guy that rescued Martin, one of the slaves. The story is all over the news. Martin was in a coma for like 4 days. Martin blew the whistle. All the men who was there was arrested. Carver is dead. Damon's dead, right? But the only 2 men that got away was Oscar and Dr. Kasim. But it just come to show that it wasn't just only those men. There was other men around the world who were arrested. The FBI, you know, Martin was the whistleblower. Unfortunately, because of Martin exposing the truth of 40 Acres, racial tensions was high, and a 16-year-old boy was brutally beaten by white males because of it. And you know, Martin felt bad, but Martin did a good deed, and that's how it ended. And I think it's gonna be a part 2 because of how it ended. And that's my story, guys. Until next time, your girl is out.